Good evening. Welcome everyone to our February City of Boulder Police Oversight Panel meeting. We acknowledge the Arapaho, Ute, and Cheyenne tribes, the traditional custodians of the land which the Police Oversight Panel and the Boulder Police Department operate, and we pay our respects to the elders past and present. Also a reminder of our agreements that we made between ourselves at our retreat earlier last year about the way we treat each other and the way that we treat this business. I'd like to welcome the public and any potential press to the meeting. I'd also like to welcome the panel members. Thank you everyone for being here and acknowledge anything in the moment that may have made this week or this day challenging. Members of the public, we have a Q&A feature, so we will answer small questions in the Q&As. But if we have larger questions, please save those for the public comment section. If you want to make a complaint, there are two ways to do that. I can go to our website, which is Boulder, Colorado, all one word, .gov/services/police-oversight, or you can email us directly at policeoversightpanel@bouldercolorado.gov. And just a reminder that our meetings are public and are posted to our website. And the first item on our agenda is a roll call. Remind me how that works.
I think you've said the names of people and then they verbally.
Okay. Jason?
Here.
Abigail?
Here.
Lizzie?
Here.
Luna?
Here.
Milan?
Here.
Alan? And Bill?
Here.
Members not present.
Sorry, Dad. Chico. Oh, no. So, Chico's waiting to get promoted. Chico's here.
Did you get a message from Soledad? She's in Chile right now. They have a family better.
Oh, no. I don't think we're going to make it. It's not really serious.
And Chico is here. Welcome, Chico. So the next item is an approval of our agenda.
Motion to approve. Okay.
And the next,
Voting.
so voting by show of hands. And the next item is approval of our minutes.
Motion to approve.
Thank you. And the vote to approve the minutes.
Stay.
And then we have a special guest who will introduce themselves.
Hi, everyone. I am Roberto Ramirez. I am the Deputy City Attorney here for the City of Boulder. I know that historically you've had Erin Poe as the kind of the liaison from our office. After 25 years, she is now with the City of Lafayette. Is that where she went? She's somewhere nearby. So I am the other deputy in the civil division. I work with the Human Rights Ordinance and the Human Relations Commission. I work with the SAMPS team, so the Safe and Managed Public Spaces. I work with all of licensing, so alcohol, tobacco, marijuana, mushrooms. And I do a lot of management in the office. But by way of background, aside from this job, I am also in the United States Air Force, where I am an officer, but I have stepped back. Was a few years ago, I was appointed to the federal bench, and so I am a federal military judge on the Air Force Court of Criminal Appeals. I am also a professor of law at the University of Denver, and I help run a nonprofit. As it relates to police oversight, I spent a decade for the city of Arvada representing, I was the head of litigation, so I did a lot of 1983 work, civil rights type work, where individuals alleged mainly that the Arvada Police Department used excessive force. So I worked with the police department quite a bit. I worked with internal affairs quite a bit in those 10 years. I think that catches us up. I also spent, when Governor Hickenlooper was the governor, he appointed me to the bench. I was a district court judge before becoming a federal judge for 7 years in the 17th Judicial District, which is Adams County and Broomfield County. Now that's it.
Impressive.
Yes. Maybe you understand why I'm excited about being able to provide some assistance and counsel to the panel and to myself. So welcome.
Thank you.
And next we have our community outreach and engagement report.
Okay, did we do the approval of minutes already?
Yes.
Okay, so I have 3 things I'm going to report on. I'm going to talk about one. I'm going to ask Milan to talk about the Trident. And then Luna, I would love it if you would share a little bit about just the connection that you're going to make with gentlemen from the church and our committee. And so I'm going to talk about the connectors. I met with Anna Sylvia, who is the co-chair of that group, and they're basically going through a process of bringing on new members. And so she said that by late March, early April, they'll be complete with that. And then we're going to work to actually have them join us or have us join them at one of their meetings so that we can actually have a conversation with each other about possible ways to engage with the whole connectors group. So I'm excited that that's finally in the works. And then Milan has worked to put together an event at the Trident on March 25th. And I don't know if you have any more update about the time or anything that you want to share at this point.
Yeah, we really need to act on it, and I've been way too busy. We need a paragraph and a photo. And I was hoping that someone could do it while I was so busy, but it appears nothing was done with that. We did a.
Oh, no, I'm
this
working
paragraph.
on that. I didn't know you had a deadline. I was working under
No,
the
I didn't do
newsletter
it.
deadline.
Yeah,
No, I'm working on that.
okay.
But I didn't realize that you had a deadline. I was working off of the newsletter deadline for Sherry. Is there a deadline that you need this for the Trident?
So for the Trident, I asked, originally it was gonna be March 29th, and then they changed it to March 25th. And so
Okay,
I think that the sooner the better. They didn't give me a deadline, but it was clear
Okay.
that they probably are not reserving it until we send them something.
okay. So that wasn't really clear. So now that I know
Yeah,
that,
no,
I'll
I
put something
apologize.
together.
Yeah,
Okay, I can do that this week and I'll share it with you and we can get it done then.
amazing, thank you. And then can we get a picture from, like, something, maybe the city of Boulder and logo, or a picture of, with, say, Police of the Site Panel logo? I don't know, do we have something that we could, sure, we can make something.
Yeah, we have the same circle that says City of Boulder with police oversight. So-
Yeah, I think that should be enough.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, so I'll put that together, and then Sherry said we could work with the communications folks who can pretty it up for us and put that logo on there as well.
Yeah, or just give it to us separately, because I don't know how they use it, how they do use it on their announcement page.
Okay. Okay, that sounds good. And then Luna, can you just do a little update about the church connection? Sorry, got you mid-chew.
No, I could have planned better. So a couple weeks ago, I was connected to the United Methodist Church, who they just launched a program called the Illuminators, where they have someone who is housed and sort of like doing project management work, and then they have two individuals on staff who are unhoused who develop relationships within the unhoused community. So they're building community networks within the unhoused population here in Boulder. And they wanted to have a conversation in March that included, they have a connection with a former, I think they call it the chief of public safety up in Longmont. And we're working to get some connections at city council to be in on this conversation, but they're really trying to do some culture work around how the city of Boulder interacts with the houseless community, starting in their congregation. And so I, was tapped to make the BPD connection. I looped in the chief and Alistair today, and I will, update you all as that project develops. I'm hoping to bring in someone else from the community engagement committee too, so that our connection lasts even after I leave.
Yeah, great. And again, if there's any groups or folks you think it would be helpful to outreach to, just let me know and I'm happy to do that. And I think that's all I have for tonight, Victor.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, can you just provide a little bit more information then about the Trident, like the expected basic time and just what you envision for the people who weren't at the community?
So in terms of the time, I think I said like 6 to 8 or 8:30, just so to give us a little bit of time before and after for an hour and a half event. So around 6 to, I think I may have 6 to 9 to give us time to set up and clean up. What else did you ask for?
Just your understanding of what it is.
Yeah, so my understanding, and I need to, right, like, is that it would be in the back of the Trident, like in the backyard of the Trident. They have tables, and we know it's enclosed in plastic, walls and doors and heating. So it's a nice space. It's a very nice space, and it's where people, we might have a table there, and people will come in and out and have their, hot cocoa, and and that's what I'm seeing there is a lot of flow from different parts of our population, like even tourists and students. There are a lot of students working there. There's a lot of people just coming from a restaurant and having like a coffee or something like that. And so, or looking at books and then reading it. So I'm hoping 25th, I think, forget what day it is, but it's a weekday, it's a Wednesday, Thursday. The 29th was, so it might be a Tuesday.
The one thing I think that's it is spring break for BBSD and CU.
That is true.
I will ask for a different date, maybe early April. Early April would work with what you have planned, Bill?
Yeah, because my wife's in BVSD, so I try to keep spring break open in case she wants to go somewhere. So.
Okay.
But I'll still create the invitation and get that all buttoned up this week and share it with you so that we can get that done and edited. And
Yeah.
and just add the date and time.
Do we have any preferences as far as the day we want to do it? 'Cause-
I mean, the day of the week.
Yeah, day of the week.
I think it just depends on our calendars.
Okay, but otherwise it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're going to invite the whole panel. We'll just have to find the right day,
Right.
see what works for everybody.
Yeah, I don't think I'll pick a Monday or Tuesday, but more like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Great. Any other questions or thoughts? Okay, Victor, I'll turn it back to you.
Thanks, Bill. Our next item is the independent police monitor report.
Selena? It says that I can't share right now.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, the February 2025 Independent Police Monitors Report. So in January of 2025, the panel completed 5 full case reviews. There are 0 at this time that are pending BPD disposition. Some of them were just closed very recently, so they're not in this report. We'll be hearing about them next month. And there are 8 cases currently waiting panel review. Regarding the completed cases, MI 2024-026, officers 1 and 2 observed a man riding a skateboard on the mall where skateboarding is prohibited. Officer 1 gave him a warning and advised that if observed skateboarding again, he would receive a ticket. As the man left the interaction with the officers, he mounted the skateboard to ride away. Officer 1 detained the man and issued him a ticket. Months later, Officer 1 approached a group of people in a public park. The man who had been skateboarding in the previous incident began shouting and interacting with Officer 1. Officer 1 called a municipal court attorney and told him that in the future, Officer 1 would not be satisfied with an apology to dismiss the charges against the man. Allegations against Officer 1 include a Rule 1, compliance with values, rules, and general orders. General Order 101, unbiased policing, displayed bias towards the man because of his socioeconomic status. The panel recommended that allegation be not sustained, and the department determined that it was unfounded. Another Rule 1 allegation, General Order 240, in-car cameras, failed to activate his body-worn camera in a timely manner. The panel recommended that this allegation be sustained with verbal counseling, and the department determined that the allegation would be sustained with verbal counseling. The Officer 1 had a Rule 4 allegation, harassed the man. The panel recommended that this allegation be not sustained, and the department determined that it was unfounded. Officer 2 had a Rule 1 allegation of violating General Order 240, in-car cameras, failed to activate his body-worn camera in a timely manner. The panel recommended that this allegation be sustained with verbal counseling, and the department determined that it was not sustained. MI 2024-048, PSU received a voicemail message requesting to file a complaint with no additional complaint details. Multiple attempts to reach the complainant for more details remained unsuccessful, and the case was administratively closed. And so for awareness, in 2025, this type of incomplete complaint will use the new classification of unspecified incident. So that's something you can expect to see. MI 2024-053, officers responded to a dispute between community members and parking enforcement officers. Officer 1 and complainant engaged in a verbal dispute that included Officer 1 making physical contact with complainant. Complainant sought to learn Officer 1's name from Sergeant 1 and also file a complaint against Officer 1. So allegations against Officer 1 include a Rule 1, General Order 225, use of force, failed to de-escalate. The recommendation was that this allegation be sustained with verbal counseling, and that was also the department's final determination. Officer 1 also had an integrity allegation, obstructed complainant's attempt to video record a City of Boulder parking enforcement officer. Monitor recommended that be unfounded, and the department also unfounded it. Bless you. Officer 1 had a Rule 6, use of force, pushed and or forcibly moved the complainant. I recommended that this allegation be exonerated, and the department also exonerated the allegation. Sergeant 1 received a Rule 1 customer service value allegation, did not provide Officer 1's name and call or badge number upon request. I recommended that this be sustained with verbal counseling, and the department agreed. And the sergeant also received an allegation of Rule 1, General Order 120, failed to register complainant's complaint with PSU. And I recommended that this be sustained with verbal counseling, and the department agreed. MI 2024-055, officers responded to a more involved call regarding physical assaults and unleashed dog biting. Complainant received a summons and began filming the officer. Complainant attempted to video the animal protection officer's vehicle while Sergeant 1 initially stood between complainant and the vehicles before ultimately letting complainant film the vehicles. The allegation against Sergeant 1 was a Rule 1, compliance with values, rules, and general orders, integrity, obstructed complainant's attempt to video animal protection officers and or their vehicles. Panel recommended that this allegation be sustained with verbal counseling, and the department determinations was not sustained. The panel provided additional recommendations, which is BPD is advised to develop training that provides officers with a fulsome understanding of the balance of officer safety and investigative integrity with community members' right to exercise their First Amendment rights. In the current climate of multiple First Amendment auditors operating in Boulder, the leadership of BPD should ensure that officers have appropriate training on this issue so that they can confidently and lawfully provide instruction to community members. Chief Redfern's response was, I do agree with the police oversight panel that we need to ensure our officers have proper training and a working understanding of what First Amendment rights our community members have. And this is not the first occasion when there seems to be some uncertainty. So I will direct our legal advisor to conduct training on this topic in the near future. MI 2024-063, off-duty incident. Officer 1 complained to gym management that a personal trainer engaged in conduct that caused Officer 1 to feel uncomfortable. After learning of this complaint, the trainer filed a complaint of harassment by Officer 1 with PSU. Allegation was a Rule 8 conduct, harassed trainer and or filed false workplace complaints against trainer and or tried to get trainer fired. I recommended that this allegation be unfounded, and the department agreed. MI 2024-066, a visitor to Boulder for a CU event asked an officer directing traffic for directions to a parking lot. The officer allegedly responded, I don't care. The investigation was unable to identify this officer. So the unknown officer had a Rule 1 allegation that they told a motorist, I don't care, when she was asking for directions, and I recommended that be closed in accordance with General Order 120-1, Section 3E, and the department agreed. MI 2024-079, the complainant alleged that Officer 1, a pick-me girl, harassed her by pointing and speaking disparagingly about complainant to Officer 2. The evidence demonstrated that the officers were driving to an assigned shoplifting and trespassing job when the incident allegedly occurred. Photos submitted by the complainant showed the officers from a distance in a vehicle with the windows closed. The officers were not pointing at complainant in either photo and not looking at her in the first photo. Additionally, I observed the body-worn camera of the officer's response to that trespassing and shoplifting incident. Based on my review of that, I suspected that Officer 2 did not understand that absent any criminal charge, he cannot extend a detention to obtain contact information to complete an affidavit of trespass. And I recommend that Officer 2 receive supplemental coaching on this topic. The allegation against Officer 1, Rule 4, respect for others, harass the complainant. I recommended that that allegation be unfounded in accordance with General Order 120-1, Section 8, and the department agreed. MI 2024-080, officers responded to a domestic disturbance call involving separated spouses at the property they shared. The residing spouse refused entry of the complainant spouse, and they engaged in a physical altercation after complainant attempted to force entry and brandish a stun gun at the residing spouse. The officers arrested the complainant. The allegation against all 3 arresting officers was a Rule 8 conduct, harass. Oh. This is totally wrong. I will have to get this information later. That is the wrong slide. MI 2024-081, officers responded to a call for assistance at a bank where an unsatisfied customer / complainant refused to leave. The complainant was elderly and used a wheelchair, causing transportation concerns. An officer contacted VIA to ensure transportation back to complainant's assisted living facility and waited with the complainant outside until a VIA transport arrived. The allegation against Officer 1 was Rule 5, police authority and public trust, forced complainant to wait outside in the cold. My recommendation was exonerated in accordance with General Order 120-1, Section 8, and the department agreed. Looking at our case statistics from January, there were 9 cases that are classified. 4 of them were misconduct investigations, 0 serious misconduct, 2 community inquiries, 2 community feedbacks, 1 unspecified incident, 0 conflict facilitation process. I observed 4 interviews. I had 0 scene response, deemed 2 cases thorough and complete, and BPD closed 9 cases. Our open docket as of February 4th was 34 cases. 18 of those are classified, 4 were pending monitor classification, and 12 were with PSU in the preliminary investigation stage. I also am sharing with you the 2024 cases from Q1 to Q3 that are still open. MI 2024-046 is going to be reviewed by the panel, and that should be getting prepped right now. The interviews are complete in MI 2024-058. SM 2024-001 is being prepped for panel review, and SM 2024-004 panel review. Looking at some of community engagement and other activities that I undertook in January, myself and several panel members attended the open house for boards and commissions to meet with potential student panel applicants. I attended a Meet Your Colorado State Legislators Forum to introduce myself, attended various local MLK celebrations, and liaised with advocates for the district. Besides MI 2024-080, are there any questions? Providing information about the student recruitment update. There were, I believe, 33 students who expressed some degree of preliminary interest in serving on the panel. 13 who applied, and we are going to start interviewing 6 of them. So I think, I know I was impressed by the from what I saw so far. And so they should be joining us at next month's meeting when we select them. Also a reminder, as part of that, March 1st, there is an extensive training, so that's on your calendars. Please make sure it's on your personal calendars also. And then also I've been working to create a youth art contest for the cover art for 2024 annual report. And so hopefully I will have the official information all ready and available in the next few days for sharing out. But the artwork will be, the deadline is going to be March 21st. And I am hoping, I'm in communication with a local business to see if the top pieces of artwork can get displayed for the art week.
The March 1st training is half a day, all day in person at the
All day.
department here.
In person, expected to be here.
Any topics? Do you know what the topics are to the training?
I mean, they're going to be there. That training is going to focus on the mandatory topics that are in the ordinance to get the students.
We all take them every year. Is that how it works? Or-
That is, I can make them mandatory or not. There is some leeway. I would certainly say if there's a member who did not attend last year, that they should attend again, but I will definitely be sharing out information. If you have a conflict, let me know.
Well, I wasn't clear if it was mandatory for folks who hadn't taken it before or mandatory for everyone. So just if we could get clarity on that, that'd be awesome.
And last year we reported them, and my expectation is that we would do that again. Cool. Anything else?
Well, thank you. Next, we'll move to panel updates, guest speakers, and ad hoc items. Farah, are you ready? Welcome, Farah.
Everyone. So Lena has my presentation. It's 4 slides, and I think one of the slides is questions, so this will be very quick. Oh, I can't see it. Can you guys see it? I can't.
Not yet.
Okay.
1 second.
Do you see them, Farah?
Oh, now I can. Mhm. Well, good evening, everyone. It is good to see everybody, and thank you for your patience. But I'm really excited about the case review panel. I picked it up within the last couple weeks from coming back from maternity leave, and adjusted it just a little bit. And by way of introductions, because I think we have some new panel members, my name is Farah Muscadin. I'm a former police monitor, and I've been working with the panel for maybe a couple years, a little over a year, and happy to be back to continue the work and support the panel. So this presentation is a brief presentation just about the case review manual, and essentially the impetus of it was just from conversations with several panel members who said, you know, we need help in figuring out how to actually do case review. And so essentially this is, hopefully I'm going to work on condensing it a bit, a manual to explain the process of case review and how to actually do it, so that you will have a little bit more information and feel like you're able to swim as opposed to just being thrown in the pool. And so I've had one conversation with a panel member to get some feedback on it, just to understand the process a little bit more in depthly about case review. I'm very much interested in having additional conversations. I'm happy to talk to everyone. I'm happy to talk to whoever's open and wanting to talk to me about it. And I'm also obviously open to talking, doing a small ad hoc committee to talking to just working through just with 2 panel members. Next slide, please. It is, I'm not gonna say it's almost done, but I've got most of the key ingredients in it, and it's probably on a low level bake, but not ready, not ready for prime time yet. But essentially, what I did is really just zeroed in on just case review. My first iteration of it included the whole complaint process in there, and that really wasn't the point. And so I took a lot of information out and just really just focused on just the case review process. And so these, what you see on the screen now, are the key elements of the manual, what's included in them. I just want to highlight one thing that I created that is an optional thing that you can use if you want to. Again, emphasis on optional, but it's just a case review worksheet. And what that is just key areas of like the case number, your name, writing down some thoughts, getting preliminary thoughts on what you think the disposition should be. And it is for your own purpose. Like you don't have to give it to Sherry. You don't have to keep it. It's just something that you can have on hand to guide you while you're doing your case review. And so I have it in a Google form now, but I can work with Selena to get it in a form that would be helpful for you to use. You could obviously print it and use a paper form, but we thought having something that you could have more concretely as you're going through the literal process would be helpful. And then it also includes the detailed steps of case review and then a checklist so that you can literally check it or have it, in front of mind as you're going through. Understanding the dispositions and the various disposition definitions are very important. So that is included. And then I included in an appendix, and the appendix is actually longer than the other key components of the manual. So right now, the appendix includes the discipline matrix that's just basically taken out of General Order 120. I actually deleted the definitions this afternoon when I was working on it, because at this point, you really don't need the definitions. But what I did include was a sample of the evidence summary that the police monitor gives you, and the template of the recommendation form that you fill out that you would submit to the chief of police, so that you see that on the front end of what it looks like and what it entails while you're going through the process. So this is kind of really the ingredients of the recipe that we're making for this manual. I do think, because we've talked about this several times, the condensed version will probably just include the worksheet, like a brief summary, the worksheet, and maybe the checklist, to have that for people to have like literally when you're in case review. And then this manual you'll have when you are going through your training. Next slide, please. So just in terms of feedback, I because this is a lot further in the process in terms of the baking process, it's up to you how you want to proceed forward. But I do, since this is intended to be something that is helpful specifically for you in your process of case review, your feedback is going to be really important, because if you don't think it's helpful, then we need to come up with something else. So however you guys want to do it is I'm open to. I have no real preference in terms of how we do it versus individual meetings or a subcommittee. But I do think I've met with one panel member, and that feedback was super helpful. And I tweaked it based on their feedback. So any additional feedback would be helpful. I do plan on, if we can, have at least a couple meetings with some panel members. I don't need more than 30 minutes. And then I can get the whole panel, the first draft, by February 21st. And then I think, giving you guys a couple weeks to review it, giving me your feedback. and then I can turn it around pretty quickly for us to finalize at the March 10th meeting. And then I can send you whatever updates from that. I gave myself until March 31st for a final draft, but I don't think I'd necessarily need that much time, but just in case, things pop up. But I do think after the second round of review, I can turn it around pretty quickly and have it done actually before March 31st. So this is just the timeline that I'm thinking, but I think what's most important is giving you guys that 2 weeks to review draft in the beginning, because it'll be by February 21st, it'll be pretty baked and in a pretty good place for you to review it. So this is the timeline, and really the only thing I'm asking for consideration is how you want to move forward with providing feedback on it. And but it's in pretty good shape right now. So we're not, I'm emphasizing that point to you because we've been working together for a while and with the ordinance and with the bylaws, and we aren't, I'm saying that because we aren't starting from scratch. So we'll be literally just reviewing the document, giving me input, telling me what, if this should be included, should not be included, this is not helpful, what would be helpful, so that I can add it. So I think knowing that we aren't starting from scratch is very important for everyone to understand. And I think my next slide is a question slide. Yes. So that is it for the manual.
Victor, I have a question.
Yes, yes.
So I'm new on the panel, and so I haven't had any opportunity to read the document. But is it possible for you to just share the draft, or I'm not sure what the protocol was in the past, but I would be interested in seeing it.
Are you asking for the draft before the February 21st date, or when I send it to everybody on February 21st?
So is the February 21st, that's almost put to bed draft, right?
No, it's really the initial feedback, and then I'm gonna get it back get everybody's feedback and update it for our March 10th meeting. And then if there's more edits that need to be done, then I will use those 2 weeks between March 10th and the end of March to have it final. So there'll be pretty much a month of time the panel can give me feedback. So from February, let's say from February 21st to the end of March is when the panel can give me feedback on what needs to be included in. And so what I mean by baked is just that in prior items that we've worked on together, we literally started from scratch. So this is not the case here, Alan. I've worked on this for a while, and then we paused it. So I have some content to work with. So it's just an easier process for us to get through. It's only going to take us a month or so to finalize. That's the only reason why I bring that up.
All right, thanks.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions about it or preferences for anyone about feedback? So I'm also fine with just working it up until the 21st or maybe even before then, and sending it to everybody. And then maybe it might make sense for those who are available to meet with me after you get that and give me feedback. I thought maybe feedback on the front end would be better, but maybe feedback after you seeing a draft might be appropriate. So if I need to pivot, I can pivot and have time to do that. Does that sound like a better plan as opposed to meeting kind of on the front end?
Farah, do you have questions for us? Like, is there any point during while you work where you're wondering how we're doing it, or whether we, would you have questions for us that would be helpful for you?
Yeah, so that's what so I had a meeting with Abigail, and so essentially I just asked her, how do you do case review? We went through the document, and I was like, is this the information that would be helpful? Do you think this would be helpful? The stuff like that. So that is kind of the information that I would ask on the front end. But you could also tell me that on the back end for me to, edit the document to accommodate, you know what I mean, what would be helpful to you. So it's really a panel preference. In the end, we're gonna get to the finish line. So whatever is easiest for everyone is fine with me. It doesn't change the deadline at all.
My other question for you is, when we first, met with you, you had interviews with us like 2 by 2. And I'm wondering if that could be a way we could do feedback. Like I find that if there are 2 panelists talking with you, ideas might come up more than if it's just one person at a time. So just.
Yeah, oh
wondering-
yeah, I'm fine with 2 by 2s, yeah. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, because I always feel like we get more ideas by listening to each other.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
Thank you so much for all the work you do, and congratulations on your baby.
Yeah, she's here. You can see her arm a little bit.
Aw. Beautiful.
Yeah, so just feel free to message me, you know, if the perspective of the panel is to kind of see the draft, maybe kind of read it, sit on it a little bit, give it some thoughts, and then we do a 2 by 2. I'm fine with that too. So what I can do is work on it for the next week, and maybe I send it to you maybe by the 21st, and then between the 21st and the next panel meeting, I can reach out and see if the 2 by 2s are appropriate. And then we can go from there. I think that's what I feel like through Zoom. I'm the sense that I'm getting from the panel that it might be better for you to see what I've been working on first and then give me feedback from there.
Thank you.
All right. So if there are no other questions, I think I understand how we're moving forward. And obviously you guys know you can be as forward with me as possible. I take all sorts of feedback and criticism. I have very thick skin, especially doing this type of work. So you won't hurt my feelings if I don't hit it on the mark with this particular draft.
Thank you so much, Farrah. Really appreciate just being able to work with you. So thank you.
Okay, thank you, everybody, and I will talk to you soon. Take care.
Thanks, Sarah.
Our next item is a chat about the co-chair's election vote process.
Right, I have things for you. I apologize in advance for not passing it on sooner. Yes. And Chico, I should send it to you or put it in the chat. Can I put the link in the chat for Chico? I think so. Yeah. Oh, wait, I don't have access to the chat. I'm actually, okay, see if I have. Chico, I'm sending it to your city address. And Alan has it because we've been working together. So. And Bill? Oh,
Can you
Bill.
send it to me as well?
Sorry,
please?
Bill.
Thank you. That's okay. I'm not shy.
Many bills. Sorry. All right. You should get it, Bill. So,
Thank you.
yeah, good. So Alan and I met a couple weeks ago, and then we discussed it and discussed the process for proposal for kind of the process for the upcoming election of co-chairs. as I mentioned during our last meeting, I think it was the last meeting that we had where the purpose of this is to open elections to all the members of the panel rather than only to having running candidates in order for us to really see everyone and their talents and skills and give an opportunity to people who are maybe too shy or maybe I don't know, I don't want to guess but who have the talent to lead, but don't recognize it in themselves to be recognized by their peers. So it's a more like horizontal way of finding a leader than vertical. And so Alan and I thought through the process and then I tried to put it together. So this is open to feedback as well, but this is a proposal I'd like to work on today. So I can go through everything. The proposed process is we would have an introduction round where Alan and I will probably lead that part of it, where each panelist introduces themselves for 2 minutes, 2-3 minutes. And then we also have a round where we are all together creating what constitute the skills and talents that we want to see in a leader and in a co-chair. Just so that we all have an idea of and agree upon what the co-chair should aspire to or come with, in terms of skills. And then we'll pass it on to our independent police monitor, Sherry, because that's to lead the election process itself for the bylaws, I believe. So we would, this is what I'm proposing that we're proposing, sorry, I'm reading it, so I'm saying I, but it's really the two of us. So for the round one, each panelist would write down the name of 1 or 2 people that they see as good candidates for the co-chair positions. And then Sherry would tally the votes. And then we would go through a round of consent for the 4 panelists would have the highest score to make sure that they want to be actually in the position of a co-chair should they be elected. If they don't, then we go to the next person for the highest score and we ask for consent. If 3 or 4 people consent to be co-chairs, and there's a second round, unless the first 2 have already the majority of the votes in the first round, in which case that's the second round is moot. And then each panelist write down again the names of 1 or 2 people among the 3 or 4 panelists selected during the first round. And I tried to think about different possibilities, 2 people, because we want to be prepared as much as possible if 2 panelists receive the same score. We might have to have a third round for this to figure out to separate those 2. The top 2 candidates are then selected to be co-chairs. Yay! And congratulations. So. If you have any questions for me or Alan, please feel free to ask. If you have any feedback or anything that you think I might have forgotten when I was writing the list of things that we had talked about, Alan and I, please. Good for question.
Question on
Yeah.
the first round mechanics. So everyone writes down 1 or 2. So you kind of have 1 or 2 votes, whatever you prefer.
Yeah, I would.
You tally the votes, and then if there are 4 people who have 8, 7, 6, 5 votes, if 8 and 7 accept, then we're done, and those are the co-chairs. Okay, got it. And then what gets us into a second round if there's our ties or?
It would be if nobody gets the majority.
Oh, if there's like 5 people with 3 votes, then.
Like, say we all vote for each other, right?
Okay. And when that happens, how do we get to how do we prevent the same numbers from shaking out? Then only those 5 people that are tied are in the second round, or like,
Yes.
we see who's not consenting and then that group. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So this is the proposal to approve this process for our next election process. And then, at some point, we can also revise the bylaws, make it even more open to conversation as we select our co-chairs. But at this point, the bylaws say secret ballot. And so we're limited as to the transparency of the process for ourselves. But I think this is a step forward in the direction where it's more open to everyone and giving a chance to everyone. So hearing, recognizing that some of us have more of a voice than others, but doesn't mean that we have more talents. So
Thank you guys for working on this. It's very well thought out, and I think this is gonna be a great way to do it.
yeah, Ellen and I had an interesting conversation, and it was nice to bring different perspective and then come to 2-person consensus on the way to do that. So thank you very much, Ellen, for volunteering to support this. And so I think now I would like to ask for approval of this proposal. Do we have to do a motion or?
Oh, I mean, I think you have to do that. I'm also just, my only concern, not with the theory of it, is if every person takes like 2 to 3 minutes and then we do that's half, this looks like it's about half the meeting. So yeah, but that's an important part of our next year. I think that voting for it might mean either earlier or that we're gonna either start the meeting earlier or expect to go late. That's just what I'm saying.
Okay.
Just this doesn't fit within a 15 or 20 minute time.
Right, no, it requires a little bit more time, but I think the thoughtfulness that we put in upfront is gonna pay back later. In terms of the what do I want to say? The community, the panel, or the solidity of our group and the support of the co-chair.
So maybe included in our vote is extending the meeting up to provide for that time.
There might be a second vote for that.
Yeah, that would make more sense.
This might interfere with what you're trying to achieve, so if that's the case, we can ignore this, but if we don't want to extend the meeting, is there a way to move some of the introductory stuff into prep work or anything we can kind of do before the meeting? I don't know if the open discussion.
I think the open discussion is the purpose,
Okay.
to be together and listening to each other and getting to know each other as well, since we're gonna have new panelists.
Totally.
And so part of that intro is really getting to know really the essence of who we are. And I wish we could dive even more into getting to know each other before, especially for the newer panelists, but this is the concentrated version of, and I think it's important also to understand what is our common vision for co-chairs, also what are those skills? So we'll do it as quickly as possible without losing the actual purpose of it. And so I agree that maybe extending the meeting might be good for that. I had not considered that it might be an issue, but yeah.
Is there a motion?
Is this for next month? When does the
Yes,
for next batch, we'll have new students and new other panel members or just new students?
just new students. New students, and then we'll draw someone from the alternate pool for Victor's replacement.
So should I make a motion to approve our proposal to the process for next upcoming co-chair election?
A second.
And show of hands to approve? Alan has two hands. Approved. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. And I would like to make a motion to extend the next meeting so that we can have enough time to do the introduction round and the elections properly.
I second.
Whatever.
Can you clarify by how long? Because I don't want
by
it
how long?
to be open-ended to where we're there till 10 o'clock
we
at
do half
night,
hour?
so.
It's your proposal.
Proposal to extend the next meeting by 30 minutes.
Okay.
So 9 o'clock.
For the elections.
Can we move it earlier instead of later?
Yeah.
Is that preferred? Is later preferred?
Earlier would be preferred by me
Which is
than later.
quickly possible for our older folks. Okay.
Okay. So proposal to move the meeting from 6:30 to 6 and have a meeting from 6 to 8:30 on March, when is that next meeting? 10th. On March 10th, to accommodate for the election process. That can work for you.
I mean, yeah. that
Okay.
works.
I think we need a second.
Second.
Sorry. All right, and show of hands for approval.
We won't be here, so it's your decision.
I'm
signing y'all up
for being later.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Next, we just have a reminder about the remainder of 2025 and sort of expectations and commitments to the panel work. Something I should expand on. Do you have anything to add to that?
I think that was yours. Maybe Soledad's.
Yeah, Soledad is not here, but review the material for cases. You know, showing up and not being prepared will cause a meeting to be canceled and be a waste of, you know, folks' time. So just make sure that commitment to review the evidence and all files prior to our case reviews is very important. Letting folks know about any attendance issues or things that come up. There's only a certain amount of meetings and things that you can miss per year. And scheduling behind the scenes with Selena and Sherry is very time consuming. So sending 5 emails about when are you going to show up is not kind of what we signed up for. We should just say, hey, I'm here, I'm ready to work. And just being consistent in that will help make this work move forward as we increase our caseload and increase the case reviews that will be coming before us. It's important that we remain just consistent and, you know, approach this work with integrity, even though we are volunteers. We're not professionals, but there is some expectations for that. Also to that, you're not sure?
Well, I think this last one was, I think, Soledad's idea of having a structured decision of what are the 2025 priorities for the panel. We've had people who sort of popcorn with good ideas. Oh, I heard about this and it's a great idea. But then it's not necessarily sustained. So trying to figure out ways to determine like what are the resources, and like what are the things that we want to work on in 2025 and work towards them. So that it's more structured and thoughtful and hopefully sustainable and achievable. So I think Soledad had proposed putting together an ad hoc committee to have those conversations and determine what are the main goals for the panel in 2025. It can be longer than that too, but having it be more structured.
Yeah, I think it might be also good to have like not only like expectations for the years, but maybe like have like long-term goals that we'll pass on to the next panelists so that we can have consistency and at least in some key objectives that we want to attain. I would really appreciate that. Yeah.
Sounds great. I feel like there are some hiring priorities.
Do two people want to volunteer to take that on?
I mean, one ad hoc committee already, I feel like I shouldn't take on a second, but if we can pause until after well, no, probably need it soon.
Well, I'm just wondering if we could wait until after the elections when we have new panelists and we could,
That's a good call.
we have a lot of people who are missing today, so.
Yeah.
I mean, no, but
And new chairs, we have thoughts. on How to move that forward.
Sounds like transfer that agenda item till next month.
to next month.
Okay.
I definitely don't want to forget it, so.
Would you like to take a break or do the public comment? 10 minutes over.
Public comments.
So next, we are going to do the public comment. Members of the community will have 2 minutes to speak on an issue. So we'll just go through the group. We will also put a timer up so folks are aware. Then at 2 minutes, we will mute your mic. Okay, the first person is Lynn Siegel. Lynn, would you like to make a comment?
Three minutes would be great. All the other boards have 3 minutes, but I'll just say what I can. It won't make much sense to you because it's a complicated situation. But I have issues with combination of, theft things or things I can't control in the community, along with the county giving me a retrofit 10 years ago and then gaslighting me because I revealed that their professional practices were not good on a retrofit they had for a customer for solar, and they dumped the vendor that I'd spent expensive of my time speaking to. They dumped the vendor from their program because the vendor needed to have certain conditions before the solar gets applied to this house. It wasn't my house, it's somebody else's. But they dumped the vendor and they wouldn't give me a reason. So I asked the vendor and they said it was because they were forcing them to do this solar install under adverse conditions that would put them in a liability situation and damages for not meeting their warranty. And that's crime, in my view, at the county level. And it affected me because now, 10 years later, I'm getting a retrofit and the city's administering it through the CARE program. And Energy Outreach Colorado, and they sequestered me from my own retrofit because of this incident 10 years ago. And they totally messed up my house. It'll be thousands of dollars worth of fixing it, and it's just a disaster. So just saying, done.
Thank you. Then would any panel members like to comment? Give
Well,
response?
I appreciate you, Lynn, showing up to all of our meetings and being always there. And unfortunately, we have nothing to do with the county, and so it's hard for us to understand exactly and to have we don't have any say on that issue, unfortunately. So I just want to wish you good luck, and I hope there's probably somewhere where your complaint should be received. But again, I appreciate you showing up all the time. Thank you.
Next, we have Darby. Darby, you're now unmuted. Would you like to do a public comment?
Oh no, I'm just here for a school project. Sorry.
I hope you're learning a lot.
Yes, thank you.
And next, we have Henry. We'll unmute you, Henry. Would you like to make a public comment? Henry, you can unmute yourself if you'd like to give a public comment. Going once. Okay, thank you, Henry. We will now adjourn for our 5-minute bio break. Then when we come back, we'll resume to a closed session.
Oh, yeah. And the recording should be up. It says recording. Yeah, I think it is. Is it up? Yeah. On? Yes. It should be up.
Okay, welcome back.
No, but you guys have to vote on it.
Yes, we do.
Wait, to vote on it?
Yeah, part of the sunshine law.
Sure. You want to move your.
Welcome back, everyone. Next, is there a motion for us to go to closed session? The reason why we go to closed session is to discuss confidential case reviews and protected information. And so this allows us to have this free discussion without compromising anyone's privacy.
I move to go to a closed session.
Second.
And a vote. A show of hands. So for members of the public, we will be back in 20 minutes. Okay, we're ready to vote for case review voting. Our first case is SN 2024-003. 005. This has one officer. And there are multiple Rule 1 violations.
Everybody?
It's a roll.
Yeah, but roll call.
What case is this?
005.
005.
Someone has to roll call.
Is it I'll do it. Mila? Yes.
I'll work on that one.
Oh, no, we're just voting right now, Alan, about whether to review.
Oh, okay, I say yes.
It's a roll call.
Oh.
I did the same thing, Alan, that's why. Yes. Victor?
I'll be abstaining from all votes.
Jason?
Yes.
Abigail?
No.
Lizzie? Bill
Yes.
and Chico.
Next case is SM 2024-006. Officer 1 with the Rule 3 violation.
Let me just make sure. Yes.
Luna?
Yes.
Victor, you're abstaining. Jason?
Yes.
Abigail?
No.
Lizzie? Alan?
Yes.
Bill?
No.
Chico?
No.
Thank you. The next case is MI 2025-01. One officer and there's a Rule 1 violation.
Milan?
Yes.
Luna?
No.
Victor? Abstaining, sorry. Jason?
No.
Abigail?
No.
Lizzie?
No.
Bill?
No.
Alan?
No.
And Chico?
No.
Will you repeat what that?
MI 2025-001. The next case is MI 2025-002.
Yes.
There are no officers identified for this.
Oh. I'd like to review it, but it's hard without. I'm gonna say yes.
Luna?
No.
Jason?
No.
Sorry, give me 1 sec. Abigail?
No.
Lizzie?
No.
Bill?
No.
Alan?
No.
And Chico?
No.
Thank you. The next case, MI 2025-003. Unknown officers with a Rule 4 violation.
Milan?
No.
Luna?
No.
Jason?
No.
Abigail?
Yes.
Lizzie?
No.
Bill?
No.
Alan?
No.
And Chico?
No.
Thank you. The next case is MI 2025-004.
Luna? No. Victor, abstain. Jason?
No.
Abigail?
No.
Lizzie?
No.
Bill?
No.
Alan?
No.
And Chico?
No.
Is there one more? We just did 004. Okay. The next step is this review of the case assignment status. have a couple cases that are trying to be scheduled. And several that have not been scheduled yet.
Question. There was a tie for one, and it was the second.
006.
Yeah.
So tie is a no.
Okay.
Did any cases get a yes vote?
I think the first one.
It was 005.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that one and 003, we should assign volunteers. None of who. No. Jason, Lucy.
Usually, if someone is not here, then sometimes they're assigned to a case. So
I would assign the first one to Sylvan. I mean, 3 of us plus her, just to give her the choice.
003, I'm just 005 is the one where people need to be ready. And I don't know that what her capacity is going to be.
And that's in the next 2 to 4 weeks. So
Yeah, and starting in 2 weeks, up to 4 weeks is when they expect it would be ready for the final review.
okay.
volunteers from the online group.
I'd be interested in 005.
Wait, so the 005, that's Jason, Malone, Alan, and Lizzie, and possibly Soledad, or
Oh, no, that was,
for,
I don't know. I don't think we have volunteered.
sorry.
I was just saying their
Oh.
names because there were 3 people at this table who can vote.
So let's be clear about whether people are voting for 003, 005.
So Alan, you're voting yes for 005.
005, yes.
Need 2 others?
Oh. Volunteer for it as well.
We can do 5.
So 005 is Len, Lizzie, Alan?
Yeah.
Anybody else?
And then we have case reassignments.
Oh, we have 003, but because I don't have anyone.
Okay, so 003, we're now looking for 3 members.
You know the timing on that one, Sherry?
Nope. I mean, my expectation is, due to the employment status, that it is not going to be anyone's top priority that time.
I can do that.
Next 2 weeks. So I have Lizzie and then,
Is this a serious misconduct, Sharon?
yes, SM 2024-003.
We need 1 more person.
Yes, I will. Mason?
Yeah, Florida.
But as Victor said, we have also 1 case, which I do expect to come relatively soon, where currently Abigail is a volunteer. And who knows, maybe we will sneak it in just at the end.
So 046.
046, right, and then there's another case where Luna is volunteered, but I don't expect that case to. Oh, no, sorry. 065, there's actually 4 volunteers, so that one we don't need to reassign. It's just one case.
We assign that one to AB.
So that's MI 2024-046. We're assigning AB to that case.
Thank you, everyone, for that.
I move to adjourn.
We have a closing ceremony.
Never mind, not so fast. No, I move to adjourn.
Luna, second me for God's sake. We should start with, knowing that we have panel members departing, which is very sad. We have some certificates and awards and options to speak. Or decline to speak, So, we've been talking a lot since we've been doing student recruiting about how amazingly generous the two of you have been with your time and your commitment and your ideas, and how you both just jumped in a way that I was not expecting. And so you have set the bar high. So I would like to give you an award for your service on the panel. And Abigail, ditto, lost bylaws committee. And just both of you have provided so much in just this year. It's been really wonderful. Your voices have been great and on this panel, and I love hearing your perspectives and thoughts. Is yours also the same color? I'm sorry. That's so pretty.
Thank you so much.
Oh, it's and Chico is finishing up his service and will be coming back for one more year. Yeah. So that's super exciting. And I know that I wasn't here for, most of your time, but there were some tumultuous times, is my understanding, and stuck with it. And I'm really happy to have you here for another year. So thank you. You will now soon be elder statesman of the group, I think.
Looking forward to it.
And Victor. I miss you. I'm still gonna see you at the gym though, I think, as we've been running into each other constantly. Last year, I think you really, were thinking about when your term ended, and instead you doubled down and, were a co-chair, and I really value the leadership that you've shown and the voice that you've had. And I also feel like when you said you're not really going anywhere, that I expect to hear your voice, and that you're going to continue to be involved in some way when it comes to this topic and other topics that are important to you. And you're a real asset to the community. Really glad I've gotten to know you. So, not to play basketball. Thank you so much. And the floor is open for anyone else who wants to share some nice words, or the honorees want to share some wisdom as they depart.
I mean, this is such a great group. I feel like I'm actually integrated into the Boulder community in a way that I was not, just going from law school to Pearl Street to my apartment. So thank you all for being able to generate that kind of window in to our larger community.
Oh. Yeah, I guess I just want to thank everyone here for being in community and caring for the city together in a really important way. And yeah, I want to thank you all especially for being there, as I think this is like the beginning of a life of service for me as I graduate school and find my way after that in the the void of post-college. And yeah, thank you all so much.
I guess I'd say, thank you all for not quitting, because people have sat in your chairs before and said, hey, this is too much for me. I don't have enough time for that. So really appreciate that. Just know that going forward, it's important that, you know, you have some being objective in some of these things. Sometimes you don't have enough facts. Sometimes you do have facts. But just being able to separate, you know, some of your personal feelings from like the job that we are assigned. When newer panel members come on, you kind of had to burst a bubble to say, we're not here to literally change the world, but we can change some aspects of it. So, you know, just take that into consideration. There are some things in the scope of our control, and there's some things that are not in the scope of our control. So it is a serious commitment. So, you know, hold each other accountable, but also, you know, have some grace with each other as well. Try to continue our yearly community retreats where we just all get together and have a chat. And for those who, you know, want to be co-chair, that's when your voice ends, you know, so just realize that you have an obligation to the panel, you have an obligation to the community, and it's no longer about you, it's about it's just about a greater commitment. So that's all I got.
It's okay. I'll just say thank you so much for your leadership, Victor. I think you've been a very steady presence throughout a very, I don't know what the right word is. Like, you have been on this panel through some stuff, some big changes, big fights you guys had to go through, always advocating for the panel and for yourself and for each other. So just thank you for getting us to this point. I feel it feels like a big loss to have you leaving the panel. But I just appreciate everything you've done for us so far. And I hope you'll come to our meetings and speak in public comment. Tell us what you
2
think.
minutes, Victor.
And you guys as well. You guys have been amazing. I'm so impressed by both of you. You're gonna like take over the world. Can't wait to see what you both do. Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
Sooner rather than later would be great.
I just remember Abigail saying, I'm the bylaw queen, I'm gonna volunteer for the bylaws, and sure enough, you did it. So you're officially this panel's bylaw.
Oh,
for me.
gotten a tear.
Yeah, she's the kind of wearing the parade. And Luna, I love the perspective that you brought. Like, you both were so different in a way and complementary in so many ways, and I was just like loved that we had both of you at once, because it was really rejuvenating in a way to have your youthful perspective on what a panel should be, and you're wise. You know, you're very wise for such a, you know, I call you kiddos, but yeah, no, you're fully listening to that panel, and really appreciate your perspective, because we're here for the next generations too. So it was really nice to have your perspective. And Victor, I'm gonna miss you for so many reasons, but really, like, thank you so much for everything that you've done, for everything that you brought to this panel. I know that we didn't always see eye to eye, but we always had conversations. And so that was super important to me, and you were always willing to talk. And that I really appreciate it. That's what it is, like going through thick and thin together and resolving it and getting better on the other side. So thank you so much. You put a huge amount of work, and I really hope we hear you, because your voice is really important. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ethan, I'm so glad you're coming back. I didn't know that. Did you guys know that?
Yeah.
Yeah? Oh, man. Yeah.
We love the work so much, right? We volunteer for one more yeah. Nah, it's all right. It's all right. I think it's been an honor. It's been a pleasure for me to continue serving in my own little way. I've learned a lot from Victor, and we're gonna miss you, bud. We're gonna miss you.
Thank you, everyone, and our meeting is adjourned.
Bye.
I already moved. So good.